Expanded text ads are going away. That's right. Google are getting rid of the ETA ads, of the expanded text ads, as of June 2022. So what does that mean for us, and why are Google going to do this? So essentially what it means is that we have got up until June 2022 to create expanded text ads. After that, we'll no longer be able to create expanded text ads, but we will be able to pause or enable any existing expanded text ads that you may already have. However, it's probably also then going to be a matter of time before Google takes away that functionality too, just like they did when they got rid of the traditional text ads. So what's going to replace the expanded text ads are the responsive search ads, which are already in place, and you can use them. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be firstly going over, taking you through an overview of what expanded text are, what responsive text ads are, how you can create expanded text ads now. I'm also going to be showing you how you can mimic expanded text ads using responsive text ads, as well as how you can measure the performance of your ads. So if you want to keep up to date with this sort of stuff, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button, so that when I do create new content similar to this, you'll be the first to be notified. And at the same time, there'll be a link somewhere around this video which has got my Google Ads ebook. Please feel free to download it. It's absolutely free. Yeah. So firstly, let's jump into an interface and see how we create expanded text ads. Okay, so what we do is we go inside the ad section here, and we click on the plus symbol here which says create ad, and then we select responsive search ads. Okay, now you'll notice that on the previous screen over here, if I leave this, right, when I was going to create an ad, there is no option for creating an expanded text ad. And that's because Google are trying to get away with it, yeah? They don't want us to create expanded text ads anymore. So we've got the option of creating responsive text ads. So let me just jump into an ad group. Here we go, and click on the plus symbol here. Responsive search ads. Yeah, let me click this. Okay, but what you must do here, so you can see that by default we can only create responsive text ads. However, over here there's an option to say use responsive text ads instead. So if you click on this button, that will then allow us to create an expanded text ad. And it does give us this warning to say, hey, starting from 30th of June 2022, you'll no longer be able to create or edit expanded text ads. Yeah, so you can click on this learn more button to find out a bit more about it. Yeah, so then you got the option of use expanded text ad. So you can create an expanded text ad. And as with all expanded text ads, what you can do is you can enter your the destination URL, and this is where you want to take people to. You can add 3 lines of 3 headlines. You can continue as always adding your path 1 and path 2, and you can add up to 2 description lines. Okay, there are a few other options here, but I won't go through them, right? So that is how you would create an expanded text ad. Okay. Now, with what you can also do with the expanded text ad is you can see what the ad might look like over here. So if you've entered some information over here, like if I typed in get a free property valuation, instant online valuation, you can see what your ad is going to look like here, and you can click on the next button here to see another version of it. Yeah, so you can see that over here, this is what your ad might look like on a desktop, and over here, if you click it again, it'll show what your ad will look like on a mobile device, right? If I'd entered the description lines, obviously that would appear here too, okay? Let me cancel that and get out of this. Now, in order to create a responsive text ad, okay? So what we do, again, we click on here and this plus symbol here. Or we can select the ad group first, and then we click on the plus symbol, and then we click on responsive search ad here. And now what we can do, we can add up to, as well as the URL of where we want to take people to, as well as the path that you want to display, which I always encourage everyone to use because it's giving more information to your potential users, right? What you can do, you can have up to 15 headlines, right? You can have 15 headlines, and you can have up to, so here's like over here, and you can have up to 4 description lines here, okay? And again, like with expanded text ads, you can see what your ads might look like over here. Now, the way this works, and this is really key here now, right? The way this works is that Google, now obviously using machine learning and all this AI or whatever they call it nowadays, right, will determine, based on what the users typed into the search query, which lines of text that should be most relevant to the user, and Google will choose the lines from the headlines, from your headlines. So out of the 15 headlines that you've written, it will choose the lines that it wishes to display to the users, and it'll choose which of these lines from your 4 headlines it will use to, again, display to the end users. And this can be in any order, really, or any combination. So you don't really have too much control over what Google displays, right? Which makes analyzing a little bit more difficult, right? So if you look on over this section here, again, with the preview, what you can do, you can see, you can click like next, and you can see what certain variations of the ads might look like. Yeah, so this is showing it on mobile because I've selected the mobile icon here. And if I carry on, I can just see that from the lines that I've entered, what variations Google might display to my potential audiences. And again, what I can do, I can click on the mobile and I can see what my mobile might look like here, right? What my ads might look like on a mobile device. Now, this is where we end up with a slight problem here now, because we want control, right? We don't want Google to control everything, but unfortunately, it's the way things are heading, right? And we want to see how can we mimic an expanded text ad using responsive search ads, right? And it's a very easy way of doing that, right? And I'll tell you the downside of doing that too. So what you really need to do is just get rid of your headlines here, and just leave the 4 headlines at the top, like this. So now Google will have to use these, right? But what I can also do, this is the clever part, I can pin these headlines. So I can say to Google, hey, I want this line to be my number 1 line. So I click on this pin symbol here, and I can click on this icon here. So that's now pinned. That will always be at position number 1. And I can say this over here, I can pin this, right? And this will be at position number 2. And I can select this here, and I can pin this at position number 3, right? Sorry, I meant choose your 3 headlines here, right? Because you can pin 3 of them. Obviously, the 4th one will be by default 4th anyway. And likewise, you can do the same with your description lines, right? So you can just get rid of 2 of your headlines and then pin this to ignore the recommended. You can pin it to position 1 and pin your second line to position 2. What that will enable you to do is you're almost simulating what an expanded text ad may look like, right? So you're trying to simulate the behavior of an expanded text ad. Now, the downside of that is when you're looking at the preview here, the ad strength, you might find it's not brilliant, right? The ad strength might be a bit low, and your client or your manager or whoever you're reporting to might say, "Hey, what's going on here? You know, you've got a poor ad strength." Now, what you got to do, you got to explain to them that, hey, this is because Google wants you to add lots of variations. It doesn't want you to um, push out one single message, right? It wants to choose what's the best experience it can hand over to end users. So what you're doing in this case is you're trying to experiment. It could be for a period of time, that what combinations work well with you, right? Or work well with your campaign or your ad group. So during that period, you're using this as a strategy, more of a learning sort of thing, to see what works well and what does not work well. Yeah. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to this whilst you're working on, try to understand what works and what doesn't work. Okay. Now, what you can also do here now is you'll see that in order to measure or get some type of reporting as to how your ads are performing, reporting is limited, right? It's like super limited at the moment, right? So what you can do, you can click on View Asset Details here. And when you click on View Asset Details, you get this sort of table here, which is showing you whether it's approved and how many impressions each line was actually shown. Now, hey, you guessed it. It does not show. It does not show how many. Not. It doesn't show how many clicks that you've got. Yeah, it only shows the impressions. It doesn't also show, for obvious reasons, that how many conversions you've got. You can't pool together the ad combination to say, hey, to Google, hey, what's worked and what hasn't worked very well. So it's very, very, very limited. You do have the combinations button here, which does show you which ads were served the most. So what you can do, you can use this impressions as a basis to try to make some type of sense as to what's been served the most and what hasn't been served the most, and make some sort of decisions as to what combinations you want to include in your future ads. Again, it's limited, because in order to start seeing this data, you need at least 5,000 impressions, and those 5,000 impressions need to be visible at the top of your Google search positions. So again, it is fairly limited. Whereas prior to this, what you could have done is you could have just gone in and just seen which ad is performing well and which ad is not performing well, and then you could have just made your decision based on that. But now, unfortunately, you can't. So what we do have, however, at this level here where the ads are shown, you can see which total ad combination has worked well. So you can see like the ad strength, the ad type, number of clicks, impressions, click-through rate, average CPC, cost, and conversions. Now, you don't always get the cost or conversions by default. So what you can do, you can click on here, which is your columns, and you can just type in the metrics that you want to see, like, for example, conversions, right? So you can just add it in. And once you've added it in, you can scroll to the bottom and you can sort of move it around to whichever position that you want to move it around to. Okay, so like if that's the first thing I want to see, I can see that, right? And then then you can do your optimization. Like you can see that, okay, I mean, one thing I like to do is, as well as conversions, I like to see my conversion rate, right? So I might like to click on here. So I like to see my conversion rate here, right? So where I've got my conversion rate, right? So as a combination of using clicks to make sure that I've got enough data. So I've got my clicks, so I can see, okay, I've got quite a lot of data. I can see what my conversions are, but I can see my conversion rate as well, right? Because it depends how you want to optimize this. You could see that, okay, I've got a lot of conversions, so therefore this ad combination is good. Or you can see I've got a higher conversion rate. So that might be your metric. Look over here, I've got a 3.85% conversion rate. Yeah, so the question is that would this be better than having more conversions? So if this ad was shown more, would that be a better strategy to use? What you can also do, what I also recommend, is when testing your ads, right? So Google recommends you to have at least one responsive ad and maybe up to 2 expanded text ads. Okay, so that's a good sort of combination to have. So you've got a bit of time to play with this, right? But what I also like to do is, so you can click on your campaign name, and then click on settings, yeah? And what I like to do is scroll down the page here, click on additional settings, right? And then you see add rotation here, okay? And when you click on add rotation, the default option which is selected is optimize, prefer best performing ads. Now, that's great because you're giving Google a lot of control again. And what I found is that sometimes if an ad is performing well during a certain period of time, it keeps showing those ads, which I don't like. So while I'm testing, I like to select this option here saying do not optimize, rotate ads indefinitely, right? So I'll select that, right? Now, yes, Google will throw out this warning saying low performing ads will run as often as high performing ads for an indefinite period of time. This option is not recommended for most advertisers. However, I take that with a pinch of salt because if I'm testing a set of ads, I like them to be shown, in other words, the impression rate to be quite equal. So then I can measure the impression rate, which I know that each ad has been served equally, compared to if these ads have all been shown equally, what's their click-through rate and what's their conversion rate. Yeah, so that's how I normally go about testing ads to see which ad is working and which ad is sort of not working so well. Also, guys, in terms of testing your ads, right, you can also got this option here, which you can play around with. So you can click on the plus symbol, right, and you can click on add variation. Now, using add variation, you can start testing various different ads, how one ad performs against another ad. So it's a really good option to do, but I'm going to save that for a different video. Also, guys, remember, when you're implementing these strategies of mimicking responsive text ads, when I've shown you how to pin the headlines and the descriptions, it won't affect your quality score. It will only affect your ad strength. So you can, be rest assured that, the quality score will sort of remain in place as it is. Once you look at this screen here, if you do have enough data, you might see a column here called asset performance rating. And if you do that, you'll see a status of either pending, learning, low, good, best, or unrated. And this is what the table will look like, right? So if it's in pending status, it means that there's not enough information yet. If it's in learning, it's still in learning mode, so Google's got to have a bit more time before it can start giving you some sort of performance indicators. If it's low, it means that that particular combination is not working very well, so you might consider getting rid of that combination. And if it's good, it means it's literally that it's good, so you need to add more of those assets to your ads. And if it's the best, it's the most brilliant ad that you have, so you can take advantage of it, learn from it, that what's good about this and what we can learn from it to implement more ads. Or if it's unrated, it probably means that it's got insufficient data or not enough assets yet. So guys, that's it for this video. And remember, we've got up until June 2022 to take advantage of expanded text ads, which we all love so much. And you can start implementing these strategies using the RSA ads, which I've just explained now. And the other thing is, just keep testing, and keep testing. And whilst you're here now, please guys, do subscribe on this channel, hit the notifications button so that when I do create new content, you'll be the first to be notified. And don't forget, remember to download my ebook, which there'll be a link somewhere around this video or in the description. Download my ebook, guys, and take care, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.